What's up, guys? It's Christian, F82 Colichiano, and today we're going to be talking about the reliability of the S55 engine, specifically on my F82 M4. All right, so I'm in my garage again. It's cold. I don't know if you can see, but I made a list. We're going to get straight into it. The number one thing that I wanted to highlight is maintenance over mods. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Maintenance over modifications, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. I say maintenance over mods is because, trust me when I say this, you will have more fun with your car in the long run when you take care of the stuff that needs to be taken care of first before anything else. I'm a testament to that from the past two BMWs that I've owned that I didn't really do maintenance on before modifications. So when I bought this car in October of 2022, I got it with 102,000 miles. So knowing that it was a pretty high mileage BMW, I did my research, I looked at the Carfax. Not everything that was done to the vehicle, it doesn't always show on the Carfax. So use the Carfax with a grain of salt, use it as a reference. It's still a good reference. I use the Carfax as a reference to see what I need to get done as soon as I got the car and what doesn't need to get done anymore, right? So you get a vehicle inspection either before or after you purchase a vehicle, preferably before, so you don't end up getting tied into a contract and being shit out of luck having a broken down vehicle. So as far as reliability for the M4, the S55 engine, within the first 10,000 miles, I got all the gaskets replaced. So I had the oil filter housing, the valve cover, oil pan, oil cooler gasket replaced within the first 10,000 miles that I owned the car. Why? Because I know BMWs are notorious for oil leaks. So I know that was the first place that I need to start doing maintenance on. So after that, I had the charge pipe and the J pipe replaced because those are also common to fail on BMWs. Especially if you're looking into modifying your BMW, the charge pipe is the number one thing that you need to replace. For added reliability, I also did the ignition system. I upgraded to Dynon coil packs and I changed the spark plugs to NGK 97506, I believe. Don't quote me on that part number. So essentially, I was setting myself up to do the maintenance for the modifications that I knew that I was going to do down the road. So that's kind of how you want to do it with these cars, or with any car essentially, right? You want to do the maintenance first to give you that solid foundation of reliability before you do the modifications. Now let's also talk about driving habits. Your driving habits will play a big role on how your car will perform and be reliable, right? So when I was a little bit younger, I used to romp on my car, do all that stuff, right? I was never really one as a speed junkie. I was never into like super fast cars. I like the look of the super fast cars, but I'm more of a stance guy, right? I like lowered cars, slammed cars, bad cars, whatever the case may be. So for me, my driving habits are pretty normal, spirited driving here and there, nothing crazy at all. But your driving habits will play a big role. If you do the kick down, so for the F80s and F83s, and I'm not sure if the other BMWs have this feature, but if you do the kick down, which is when you press the pedal all the way and then you press it a little bit more, it'll kind of like launch you. I did that once by accident, by the way, and it like pushed me off of my seat. And it low-key kind of scared me because this was my first high-powered car. If you do that all the time, that is gonna have a wear and tear, and it possibly can contribute to the crank hub failure, which we'll talk about briefly later. But yeah, your driving habits will play a big role. If you're always stopping and going, obviously the wear and tear on your brakes and your tires and all that stuff. You also got to make sure that you warm up the car properly before you beat on it, right? Or before you start driving it. So your driving habits will also dictate how reliable your car is. So I want to talk about the crank hub a little bit. So I'm not SME or the subject matter expert for the crank hub or for these cars at all. I'm not the expert for it. But based off of the research that I have done, it's really 50-50. If you have the money, if you saved enough money, or if you have disposable income to just get the crank hub done, by all means, go get the crank hub done. For myself, I don't have that kind of money, so I haven't gotten the crank hub done. However, I do have the crank bolt capture on the car, and it hasn't given me any issues. And so far, knock on glass or knock on wood, right? Hopefully it doesn't give me any issues. But the crank hub is both true and also blown out of proportions, right? So if you go full bolt-on, upgraded turbos, and you just do crazy stuff with your car, who knows what can happen, right? It could be reliable, it could be not. So take everything that you see and hear and read with a grain of salt. But if you really want a peace of mind, you can get the crank hub done. Small issues that I ran into here and there owning the car. I was running lean at a certain point, so I just got new map sensors. Easy fix, nothing too crazy. I bought intakes for this car at one point, and it was throwing codes. I don't know if it's because I didn't retune it after putting the intakes on. I don't remember if I did, but I eventually ended up just switching back to the stock airbox and putting K&N filters on it. I got the lower control arms replaced, a high pressure fuel pump code, and I just put like a liquid moly injector cleaner in there, just one whole full bottle, put some gas in there, just ran it, and it went away. You know, some small things, but nothing major happened to the car, right? So for those people that commented on my other video asking about the reliability of these cars specifically, I say that they're pretty reliable. If you look online, you'll see a lot of posts and a lot of people talking about like these engines are pretty solid. They're pretty bulletproof. They've done some crazy things to it. I hope this was a short video, but I hope it also encapsulated everything that you need to know about the reliability for these cars, right? To sum it all up, the reliability on this car is pretty solid. You know, there's a ton of stuff online that you can read, and I'm not going to go through all that just to bore you guys out, but there's a lot of stuff online that you can see and you can find what the common issues are, and prepare yourself for those common issues, right? Reference the Carfax that you get about the car, but also prepare for the stuff that you need to do after or if you decided getting that specific car. So for these cars nowadays, like 50,000 to 70,000 miles is mid-low mileage, right, on these cars. If the number on the dash bothers you, then just maybe put aside more money to get a lower mileage car. But other than that, the car is reliable if you make yourself reliable enough to do the maintenance and to take care of the car. I think that goes with any car that you buy, whether it's a BMW, whether it's a 328, a 325, or an M4. The maintenance is a number one thing. But thanks for watching, guys. I hope that answers questions about the reliability on the M4. I didn't want to go too deep into the weeds of the stuff that's already posted on the internet. I'm just kind of sharing my story and my experience on the reliability of the M4 S55 engine. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.